We have a matrix multiplication question here. It's saying for what matrix A times this thing that I circled in red will the result be a bunch of ones and zeros in that order. And one method you could do is just run through it guessing, right? Take each of the matrices on the left and do a couple of multiplications to see if it works out to the right pattern. It's not a bad way to do it. And if you don't know the formula shortcut, that's really your only option. So I'm going to show you first how to do some multiplications using matrices. These two matrices multiply together since they're both 2 by 2s. Remember this little trick? If you have a 2 by 2 matrix and a 2 by 2 matrix, and you want to know the dimensionality of the product, what you do is you take the matching numbers that are right next to each other and sort of wipe those out, and the result is a 2 by 2. Okay, so that's one way to check that the dimensionality makes sense, and sometimes a test will ask you a question that's just completely wrong because the dimensionality doesn't work. But what we're doing here is we're going to take this row times this column, okay? And the result of that is -7 times -1, okay? -7 times -1 plus 3 times -2. Okay, that's in the upper left corner. Now, next, I'm going to take, let's see if I can get that out of there. Next, I'm going to take the lower row times the left column. And what that's going to get me is 2 times -1 plus -1 times -2. Okay, obviously there's more to do, right? This is only the left side. But look at what happens if I simplify some of these things. This becomes, on the top, 7 minus 6. On the bottom, it becomes -2 plus 2. Okay, so that's going to get me the following: a 1 and a 0. And if you were to keep doing these multiplications, what you would see is you get a 0 and a 1 also. Okay, I'm just going to write etc. for now. You could complete those if you want, but this would be our answer. I don't think you'll have to guess more than twice or 2 multiplication steps to do this. Now, there's a formula that I promised I would show you, and it's very, very quick. So if you happen to have that formula memorized, you're in great shape because this will be a very quick process. What this problem is asking for is, what is A inverse? Okay, A inverse is the thing where if you multiply it by this, it's asking for the inverse. I'm going to write this differently. It's asking for the inverse of the matrix on the right. If I have the inverse of this thing designated by that -1 exponent, then when I multiply it by itself, the result will be the identity matrix. And the way that works is the following. Here's my matrix. If I take the inverse of that, it's going to be the following. 1 divided by something, I'll get to that in a moment. And what you do is you switch the place of D and A, and you turn B and C negative. Okay, now what goes on the denominator on the outside of this is AD minus BC. Now, that's the formula, and if you choose to memorize that, well, matrices are going to be very quick for you because you can just take this guy that I'm circling right here, that's your A, B, C, and D, and run it through this formula, and it will produce your answer right over here. Now, if you don't like that, that's fine. There's 2 ways to go about matrices, but these are the best 2.